So I'm having a chat with Janet Devlin. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little bit under the weather, which you'll probably hear the more I talk. But apart from that, all good. How are you doing?
Good, yeah. I'm all right. I'm good. And yeah, the big news is we're about to be playing a new single of yours called Country Singer. Tell us a little bit about the single first of all.
Gosh, it's kind of two things about the song really, and that is it's written about a specific person that I dated who was a country singer. And I don't want to say too much because the label's like, don't talk too much about the guy, and I'm like, okay, fine. But the actual meaning of the song really was like my breaking point with dating just dating people that I just didn't give me anything. And I just I've quit that. And like the chorus lyric of "I'm never gonna write you no Jolene" is basically just like me saying, if some girl comes along and just seeing her is enough for you to leave me, um, then she can have you. Like I'm not gonna write a Jolene about it. Like absolutely not. I'm not begging nobody to stay. So it's more so about just like embracing my womanhood and realizing that your womanhood is kind of a currency and you don't have to just go for a low bottom offer. You can just actually go and get somebody who's worth your while. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's coming off your new record, Emotional Rodeo. What can we expect to hear when we get a chance to take a listen?
Oh gosh, the whole record. Wow, there's a lot in it. It's called Emotional Rodeo because I am an emotional rodeo, and I think that it's like summed up pretty well in the sense of the album has these like big high highs, but also incredibly low lows. And it kind of correlates with a condition I have called borderline personality disorder, which I'm now medicated for and very stable. But when I was writing some of these songs, I absolutely was not. So we've got what I've known for on the record as far as like really like pouring my heart out in these ballads. And I had a breakup in the album where I dated someone for 3 years and then that relationship ended. So obviously we got some tear jerkers in there. And then because I then started getting more stable and I got put on my correct meds and all this kind of stuff, I was finally able to be the happiest I've ever been. And if people know me, they know I love joking around. I love having a good time. I love just being a little clown. So essentially, I'm just a little rodeo clown for the rest of it. I'm just singing about things that make me laugh, make me giggle, like that era of country music that I grew up with, where it was like tongue in cheek, always like a little clever quip in there. So lots of that, and also just expect great musicianship because like the musicians that played on this record in Nashville are just the creme de la creme and have played on some of my all-time favorite records. So,
Yeah, nice. And four records in now as well. How does this record sound in comparison to those?
oh gosh, well, so I think it's three. One of them I didn't release publicly, so it is technically my fourth album, but one of them does not exist to the Gen Pub. So, my first album I wrote predominantly when I was 17 years old. So at 17, I'd lived quite a lot of life, but like not really in comparison to now. So it was just a combination of all the songs that were the best songs that I'd written at that time. And then the second album, my sophomore album, which was Confessional, was accompanied by like a book and everything. It was a concept record talking about all the things I've been through, which to go through it really quickly and not dive too heavily into it because no one cares. But it's the eating disorder, the self-harm, the addiction to alcohol and prescription medication and going to rehab and all of those things, but also the good stuff in there as well. But that one was very heavily like it's like Celtic pop is probably the best way to describe it. Instead of using a guitar for a pop riff, I used like an Irish instrument. And then writing all of that heavy, heavy stuff and getting it over and done with now left me in a place for this record to just when I sat down and I was making my idea for this album, I literally turned to my management and was like, I just want to have fun. I just want to have a good time, because I'm 13 years into doing this and every time it's always really hard. But, this one, it's been hard. Like there's been like, things we've had to overcome and work through. But majoritively, I just like hired a bunch of my mates and had a really fun time writing it. But sonically, it is a country album, unlike the rest of them. An EP I released about 3 years ago had my first country song on it. Um, and that was kind of just a hint at where I was going. But this one is just it's not even like a specific type of country, because I do get people saying, like, especially with Emotional Rodeo, the first single, they're like, this isn't even country. And I'm like, well, hold on to your horses, because country singer, you can't say that isn't country, because it's out and out like honky tonk 60s country. But it spans all my favorite types of country music, because I'm not in there. I'm not in the country music scene as of yet. So I just was like, I feel like this song should sound like this type of country, and this one should sound like this. And then there's some like really rocky songs on there as well, just for why not, you know? So it's definitely like different from the last, but every album's been different from every single one of them. So
Good, and I'm glad you enjoyed writing it. And with the writing process, how do tracks normally start off for you?
so over the years it's been very different. But I will say that I've locked in now on my writing method, um, which came by, you know, I got diagnosed with ADHD. Didn't go out searching for that, but I have it. And then I got medicated for it. And since then, oh my God, when I tell you, writing, so much easier when you're not fighting your own brain and there's not sandpaper itching at it. So I have a weird way of working. So if it's just me, like, it's very different. But I like to co-write so that I can be more in the room instead of trying to go. I'm not very musically educated, so I'm like, what chord would sound nice with that one? And I can never like, there is still a few songs that I've written myself on this record, but I like co-writing. So essentially what I do in my evening time, I stick on my favorite podcast and I just like chill out in my PJs. And then as like throughout my life, I'll just write notes into my notes app, like song ideas that come to my brain. So like say I take Emotional Rodeo, the song, as an example. I thought of that name and was like, that would make a really cool song. So then I write it in my notes, and then I'll sit down and like write these just like pages worth of notes, which is a bit bonkers, but like idioms, like turns of phrases, clever wordplay, funny jokes. I'll like sit and I'll write all of that down. And then I'll write a glossary of terms related to, so for that example, rodeo. And I know quite a bit about like horse rodeo because I'm a horse girl, but I didn't know too much about like bull rodeo. So I had to go learn about that and then put all of those things in this big document. And then when I turn up to the writing session, I've already had like a few like lyric ideas and a few example paragraphs. And then I have voice notes on my phone that I've recorded as well. So then when I go in, whoever's in the room, because most creatives are on Apple devices, which is handy. So I just invite them into my big note and then we work from there. And it allows everybody to be in the room because I've done all the research. There's no need for Googling. It's all there, like, you know, and it means that songs get written in like an hour. So I can go to a songwriting session and write sometimes 3 to 4 songs, which is just, it's handy. I feel like I'm productive.
Nice, amazing. Is there any lyrics or anything that comes to mind now that you really want to use in the future that you can tell us about?
I have so many. Oh my God, I've literally got my notes up here. Let me see. If you bear with me a second.
Yeah.
Um, oh my God, now I can't find any of the. Oh yeah, just one that's there, and it's a shotgun wedding, but not a shotgun wedding as like we're familiar with, where you know the bride gets marched up the aisle because she's pregnant and they want to get the wedding done quick. No, a shotgun wedding as like when you're in a relationship with someone for so long and that they're not putting a ring on it, that you're literally like you're like marching them down the aisle essentially with the gun to the back of their head going like, you either marry me or you go away.
Nice. I look forward to the song you create around that.
Thanks.
And people will want to see you playing live. What's your plan for doing some shows?
Well, yeah, there will be a tour. There will be a definite headline tour. I'm hoping though to like lock in some support slots because I've only supported twice in my life, but one of them was in America supporting Heffron Drive, and then the other one was supporting Russell Crowe in Australia and Italy, and then I just got back from supporting him in Dublin, and I love it. Oh my God, the pressure is off, and I just get to rile up the audience and just just have a good time. And like the joke is, and I tell the audience, I'm like, well, like if you didn't enjoy my set, it's fine because you didn't pay to see me. So everyone's a winner, you know.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get some good support slots, but there will definitely be gigs coming in the future when I cross that bridge, because at the minute I'm still focusing song by song, doing singles and things like that. But I know that everyone's knocking on my door to for live shows. So
Yeah. Yeah, I bet they are. And one thing I like to ask former contestants of X Factor, and I've interviewed a few now. Are you still in contact with anybody from the show?
I'll be so real right now. And if my best mate or my management or anyone that knows me was here, they would back this up. I am the heart, like I don't stay in contact with anyone, barely. Like my best friend and me have the best relationship because literally we didn't speak there for 2 years because she was busy, I was busy, and then we met up in Dublin and picked up right where we left off. I'm the worst person to text and like stay in contact in that way. Like if you don't say meet me here at this time, it's gone. But I do have like a bunch of people on like Facebook, and I, you know, parasocially watch them have their lives and stuff like that. But I'm I'm not a very social human.
But that's life, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely. Janet, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.